Hey guys, Crispy Bacon back with a quick video on a few of my favorite setups to farm Laurels on Titan in the Guardian games. First off, my exotic weapon choice for all of these setups is going to be the Traveler's Chosen sidearm. The Gathering Light perk gives us extremely high recharge rate on our melee, grenade, and class ability. Although we'll have solid recharge rate on all of our abilities thanks to the setup that we're using, this is always a great backup plan in case you need to recharge any ability after it's gone. My other go-to is the Deafening Whisper grenade launcher with Wellspring and Ambitious Assassin. This launcher is incredible at getting huge multi-kills thanks to the wave frame grenade type, and when you combine that with the Wellspring perk, we are getting a ton of ability energy that is divided between any uncharged ability. Again, we have 4 setups here. It's going to be one for each subclass, and the only other thing you'll need for this build is a specific armor piece per subclass that we'll talk about in just a second. Starting with Striker Titan, we're going to be using Bottom Tree Striker, known as Code of the Juggernaut, combined with Pulse Grenade and Rally Barricade. What makes this subclass the top tier choice for Guardian games is going to be the Knockout perk. Critically wounding an enemy or breaking their shields increases your melee range and damage. Now this perk is good in its own right, but what you need to understand about Knockout is that when you punch an enemy and kill them, even when your melee ability is not recharged, this counts as an ability kill. This means that every time we kill an enemy with a regular uncharged melee attack, we are dropping a Laurel, making this the most sustainable way to farm Laurels in the game. And the absolute perfect combination with this setup is going to be the Wormgod's Caress Exotic Titan Gauntlets. Wormgods make it so that whenever we get a melee kill, whether it's charged or not, we increase our melee damage. At 5 stacks, this damage is absolutely insane, allowing you to one-punch a lot of enemies in the game. But again, the main benefit here is that all of these uncharged melee kills are going to count as ability kills, so we'll be able to rack up Laurels extremely quickly. Switching over to Sunbreaker, we're going to be sticking with the Wormgod's Caress, but changing our subclass to Middle Tree Sunbreaker, known as Code of the Devastator. With this subclass, our main focus is going to be the Throwing Hammer perk, which changes our charged melee ability into a thrown hammer that we can then pick up after we throw it. This is an extremely sustainable way to get ability kills since we don't have to worry about recharge since we can pick up the hammer every time. And each time we get a kill with this hammer, we are getting 2 damage buffs stacking on top of each other, those being the Roaring Flames damage buff as well as the damage buff from Wormgod Caress. This allows us to rack up a ton of damage with our melee kills, but also keep this sustainable melee ability so that we can farm Laurels very quickly. Switching over to Sentinel Titan, we'll be swapping out our Wormgod Caress exotic in favor of Heart of Inmost Light. As for our subclass, we'll be using Middle Tree, known as Code of the Commander, along with Magnetic Grenade and Towering Barricade. The idea around this setup is extremely simple: use as many abilities as possible as fast as possible. Because of Heart of Inmost Light, this makes it so that each of our abilities have faster regen, and because of the resupply perk on Middle Tree Sentinel, this makes it so that every time one of our void detonators explodes, which are applied after we hit an enemy with a melee or a grenade ability, we are going to be getting grenade and melee energy back. Simply put, this build is a fireworks show. Every time we're using one of our abilities and blowing up a void detonator, we are getting tons of ability energy back, allowing us to spam to our heart's content. Last but not least, moving on to Stasis, we're going to keep the Heart of Inmost Light exotic chest piece on, but it's a few of the aspects and fragments in the Stasis subclass that we need to make sure we have on. The setup we're going for here is Glacier Grenade, Cryoclasm, Tectonic Harvest, and then as for fragments, we want Whisper of Torment, Whisper of Fractures, and Whisper of Shards. Both of our aspects give us benefits to our ability energy when we destroy our Glacier Grenade's stasis crystals. Our fragments give us more grenade ability energy when we take damage and destroy stasis crystals, as well as give us melee ability energy when we're near 2 or more combatants. And when you combine all of this ability recharge with Heart of Inmost Light and Traveler's Chosen, we can actually have some very decent ability regen on the Stasis subclass. Ladies and gentlemen, that will about do it for the video. Again, these setups are supposed to be super simple, allowing you guys to add your own weapons and armor mods to make it your own, but as for ability kills and ability recharge rate, I think these setups per subclass are going to be about as good as you can get in the game. Warlock and Hunter will follow in a few days, so I really hope you stick around to see those. Wishing you all a happy Guardian Games. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.
We thank you, Guardian. And we will never forget.